night. So if you need me to slow down or anything like that, let me know. So the heart of our building, my very favorite room in this building. I'm sure one of the first things you notice when you look at this photograph, aside from the glowing red carpet there in the middle, is that there are a lot of chairs and a lot of tables. There's 87 to be exact. 87 for our 87 members of the Legislative Assembly. We call them MLAs. And each one of them represents about 50 to 100,000 people in their district or their constituency. And we're based on the British Westminster system, so part of what that means is that our provincial government sits over on that side of the room, and our official opposition sits over on this side of the room. In BC, we also have a third and fourth party, as well as someone who runs as an independent. They kind of sit in the center here in the middle, on the side of the opposition. The opposition plays a really important role in the chamber. They make sure that the government is staying responsible and accountable for all the decisions that they make at our provincial level. And one of the ways that the opposition can make sure that the government is staying accountable is by asking them a lot of questions. So every day that the chamber sits, which is about 6 months of the year, about 4 to 5 days of the week, the rest of the time they're still working, they're in their communities, doing work with their people, attending meetings. But when they're in here, every day there's a 30-minute period we call question period. We call it QP. It is very, very lively. It's when the opposition scrutinizes the government, so asks them lots of questions. They bang on the tables, sometimes they're shouting. If you've ever seen debates on TV, this is probably what you've seen. It's not all that happens in the chamber. The main function of this space is to make laws for the province. So typically that's what you'll see the members doing, passing a bill over into a law. And really there's only 5 steps involved in that process. A first reading where the bill is introduced to the room, a second reading where the members debate on the bill, a committee stage called Committee of the Whole. They all get together, cross the T's, dot the I's, periods, commas, exclamation marks here and there. One more reading, and then the final step is called Royal Assent. And that's what's happening this afternoon when the Lieutenant Governor, so the provincial representative for the King, they enter the space and, well, what they do is quite simple actually. Would you like to practice giving Royal Assent? All you need to do is look up and look down. Congrats. You are licensed. That is Royal Assent. It is a head. Very, very simple, symbolic, but not necessary to find. How are we so far with kind of the functioning procedures? Any questions? All right.
My throat is just itching out of them.
The way you say no, I believe, is the tip of the hat, in fact. It's never happened. Let's get back to the chamber here. There is a few more things I want to point out. If you look down this red carpet, there's a very big throne at the end. It's not for the king, it's for our speaker. Currently our speaker is the Honorable Raj Chauhan. He's our first South Asian speaker in BC. And his role is kind of like a mediator for the room. And it is crucial that the speaker remains non-partisan, so effectively neutral when they're in the space here. Just in front of the chair, there's a desk. That's the clerk's table. The clerk is in charge of procedure. They advise the speaker. They're the ones who really know what's going on for the day. And typically, on top of the table, that's where the golden mace is. Traditionally, it was used as a weapon to protect the king or the queen. We are not allowed to swing it around anymore. I have asked. No, it is still used. Our sergeant at arms, sort of like the head for provincial security, in the morning they pick up the mace, they walk into the room, the speaker and the sergeant at arms, and then they place the mace on the clerk's desk. That kind of kicks off the day's events. You can't actually make a law unless the mace is in the room. So if you're interested, later on today, you'll head up to the public galleries. You can watch the members in action, and I'm sure that the mace will be in the center because they are in fact making a law later this afternoon. If you're not here to stick around, no worries. We also have these cameras in the walls. Those are our Hansard services. They broadcast everything live. There's translations. I think there's even a Spotify if you're wanting to listen to debates on your way to work. Lots of options to see what goes on in here. Any questions about the chamber?